kind of think that people tend to look at it as a more recent attraction. There hasn't always been a word for it.
When people start saying, oh, it's a new trendy thing, maybe we didn't have a label for it before, but it's always been there, and we've always done it, We've always been doing it.
I thought I was straight until my friend in school was talking about how she thought a woman was hot and a man was hot, and I was like, what? This is an option? It's like, yes.
I had no friends who were queer. I was the one queer friend in a group of people who were all straight, and just went to the internet looking for words, and I'm like, oh, this kind of describes me in this and this, and yeah.
I feel like I learned through the love of the internet, but also books. They had characters that I knew were not straight, but I was like, so I started researching that.
I think I've always had an attraction to girls, and I also felt like there was something off about me.
I identify as bisexual.
I also identify as bisexual.
Just queer.
Genderqueer and queer, because that's the easy one to go with today.
I think labels can matter. They matter personally for me. I know people who don't like the labels, but I also think it's a cultural thing. For instance, where I come from, it's still a slur.
Yeah, I think it's very much open interpretation. That's just generally it. Like, it's up to you to say, oh, I don't want a label, I do want a label.
I think it's all a preference of opinion, maybe. Like, some people who really don't like labels probably say yes, but people who don't mind labels probably say no, it's just a label.
Like how bi for me is easier, because I went through a few labels before. I never really said straight, but I used to say hetero flexible, because it was a little bit more, oh, it's mostly straight. It's just people putting their own heteronormative stanzas on everything. Like, you can only be one or the other, you can't be in both, so yeah.
I think a lot of the time people who think labels cause division are ignoring the struggles of people using certain labels as well.
I identify as bi. I feel like if you hooked me up to some kind of machine, it would say bi. I feel like I was bi in the womb. You get the point. I'm always bi.
LGBT is like the label, and then your identity is driven from what your identity.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Because it's like that is the culture as a whole, so that's the label for that culture, and then your identity is what you are in that culture.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Mine kind of changes weekly, which is why it's just queer.
Straight is the default label.
It's more like a setting. It's like, oh, you're straight until proven so, and it's like that's the thing.
It's the cultural norm rather than maybe the scientific overwhelming norm. It's just the society we're in at the minute.
Label-wise, it might be the default, but it's not the default for actual people.
Yeah.
People get really offended sometimes if you don't think they're straight, and that obviously comes from the cultural norm of I'm straight and straight is normal, and please don't label me as abnormal. When some societies you'd be, the default was bisexual, whether that was wrong or right. It just shows how different societies view different things as different, and it's all arbitrary in the end.
As someone who dates men and has dated women, it's very much, it's what I'm attracted to at the time, and it's like you said yourself, you're in a relationship with a man, and so am I.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still attracted to women, and he knows that. And
people think it goes away.
Yeah, it's like so many celebrities who got married that said, "Oh, I'm bisexual." They went, "Oh, so you're straight now?" No, I'm still bi.
So you had a bit of a lesbian flirtation, but it's over now.
Yeah,
it's kind of not how it works.
It's never going away. It's there forever.
River Island released an ad with the slogan, "Labels are for clothes." We're with it, we're with the times, when in fact it was just a corporate marketing scheme. They're not actually probably going to donate anything to maybe the transgender rights movement. They're not going to try and, encourage positive changes in their community. They just want to sell clothes.
It's just some guy in a boardroom thinking, how can we target the gays?
That is exactly what I was just about to say, but I didn't know how to say it.
You know the companies that are really trying, but most of the time, the people who are trying to raise money are doing it off their own back.
They think that genderqueer and multisexuality is a trend and it might go away, and they're trying to capitalise on the trend, when in fact I think it's not going to go away.
If they really wanted to make a statement, they should stop dividing clothes by gender, just have it as clothes.
But of course they're not going to do that. They
Yeah.
wanted a really bright, colourful, bold marketing campaign.
Seem to think bisexuality is a phase, whether it be a phase before you become a lesbian, yeah, that you're just straight and experimenting or pretending.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of it is probably just like, a lot of it probably is just bigotry from like straight people.
Just because one person might
Yeah.
think that they're bi for a while, then work out that they're a lesbian, doesn't
Yeah.
mean that everyone who identifies as bi
Yeah.
or pan or queer is a lesbian.
What is one misunderstanding of bisexuality you would like to clarify?
When I'm in a relationship with a male, I am just assumed straight, where they could be, like, think maybe I'd leave them for a girl. Doesn't really make any sense because I could just leave them for a male just as easily.
How much do you know about bisexual history?
It's not taught anywhere that I've been to, and I've never looked into it myself.
Even when it is sort of, you go out of your way to sort of find stuff about the history, you're more likely to find stuff about gay and lesbian people.
Yeah.
Apparently the most likely first bisexual newsletter was in 1972 and it was called The Bisexual Expression, which is really cool. Because I also found that in 1982 the word bisexual was used instead of hermaphroditic. They did all the history of the bi flag, which apparently wasn't made until 1998, which really surprised me. I know quite a lot of the flags and some of the terms are really new. I just didn't think 1998 would be the date for it. I thought it was a bit older than that.
Do you think LGBTQ plus history should be taught in schools?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Even just like for awareness.
Yeah.
Be like teenagers growing up and trying to understand why they're having feelings for certain people and stuff like that.
A really strong recollection of being in school and having a crush on a female French teacher. Just like that, that's not right, I'm not allowed to feel like that.
I think with it being, if it was like teaching like the actual history of it,
Yeah.
it would be more of a high school thing.
The history thing. We did a whole unit on the artist Keith Haring. He was a gay man, he had AIDS, he did a lot of campaigning about it, and then eventually died of AIDS, and they didn't mention that he was gay once.
Do you know who Brenda Howard was?
Well, she was an activist during the gay rights movement. She was said to be the mother of the Pride events, and she popularised the version we have for Pride now, where it's a week-long celebratory event as well as the parades. And I just found something very interesting. Apparently it's always in June because it's to commemorate the Stonewall riots, and she decided that it was going to be in the last week of June because of Stonewall riots, and sort of commemorate that event like that and make it into a big event for everyone. She did like an event on the day, the first year after the Stonewall riots. She did like a march or something, not like a pride, but just like a general sort of march. I don't know what it was about, but I assume it was about that. And she founded the chapter for Alcohol Anonymous specifically for bisexuals. Bisexuals have like higher rates of mental illness and drug problems and stuff just because of how they're treated.
LGBT people in general, it's not just bisexual
No,
people. Gay people also have a higher chance
But
to
there's
become
been research
addicted to
compared
drugs.
to there's been research compared to like bisexuals and LGBT people that
Yeah.
bisexual people generally sometimes in America have a higher rate of problems like that.
There's a general trend that because a lot of the kind of social spaces for people in the LGBT plus community are like bars, you're more likely to become an alcoholic or get involved in drugs and stuff.
People don't like change.
I don't think it's a choice. I think that bisexuality in itself, behaviour and the feeling isn't a choice, but I think labels can be slightly flexible.
Instead of conforming to the normal way that society works, we should feel happy in our own bodies. It's all about who we're going to be.
But I know more people who are possibly attracted to more than one gender.
It's not just a phase. This is just about being bisexual. Woo! than ordinary. Life's a slog, flat teen skylines. Presenting the scene, cosmopolitan bisexual, connoisseur of the salaciousness of textual. But hearts are hearts and hearts break, and you fall. Without a first kiss. And you cry when she gets cosmopolitan, moves away with some girl up north, and you suddenly think that swapping the cup for the Mersey isn't such a bad idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. Fabulous. Next up, we have Beth.
I used to miss you, the good times alone in your room or at mine. Then I remembered all the stuff we missed. That please don't hate me is not an apology. When you were doing benzos in the bathroom, when you passed out in the cab and I had to carry you in. When I was falling apart and all you saw was yourself in the mirror. I've been here 3 years and you've been, what? Once? When you passed out drunk in front of my housemates on the sofa at 8 p.m. I'm fucking sick of you. Do you even know me anymore? Your feelings for a fucking idea I haven't been near since I was 17. I used to think you'd changed, now I know it's just me, for the better. You pushed me to the edge and kept fucking pushing, now you want me back, fuck that.